Alright guys, today I'm going to go over basically how to hack an Android, how to think like a hacker that would hack an Android, or actually part of it's going to show you basically how VPS, virtual private servers, are used as well when hackers use them. So as you can see, I have Amazon Web Services pulled up. Hackers aren't going to use this because you have to pay for it with a credit card unless they use stolen credentials, things like that. But there are services out there that they use for VPS that you can pay for in Bitcoin and remain anonymous. So what the hackers will do is they'll create this instance of an operating system on a virtual server that they paid for with Bitcoin, and from there they will upload like all of their hacking tools and things onto that actual server. That way nothing's on their computer. It's actually kind of smart. Hackers like to brag a lot about their work. And so if that hacker were to get caught for something or running his mouth, if his computer were confiscated and searched, there would be nothing on the computer about it, except for maybe some of the logs that he forgot to delete when he was connecting to that server. But none of the tools and stuff like that will be on there, all of those things. So, alright. As you can see, I have two instances running on this server right now. One is not running, one is running. This is the public IP address. I have some ports open, some ports closed. It's really not going to matter by the time you see this anyway. This will all be closed down and deleted. I don't ever really use this unless it's for demonstration things. I won't show you where to find VPSs. You can do some research on your own for that. If you really want to know, just shoot me an email, but that's not really the intent of what this video is about. I'm not trying to show you guys how to be black hat or how to, do anything illegal. I'm basically showing you how hackers are going to think with this and how they're going to operate. That way you can kind of mitigate those things. It won't be like this every single time, Hackers do think outside the box. They will find ways around certain things, but this is one of the main ways that you'll see things happen. Alright, so in order to do that, we have our VPS up and running. We will need to SSH into that. So let's flip over to Kali Linux over here. And in order to SSH into it, you'll need to download your keys and things like that, so you can reference those. I have everything set up here already, so we'll go ahead and SSH into it. Alright, as you can see, my username changed, so that means I have successfully logged into that instance. Alright, so what you're going to do from here is you're going to want to create a malicious file, basically a payload, to go inside of an application that'll run on Android. There's quite a few different ways to do this. I'm not saying one way is the correct way or anything like that. I'm just going to show you one way. There's many applications you can find on GitHub that do the same thing. Most hackers will actually program their own if they're actually really good at programming. The script kiddies will probably use what I'm about to show you. But the whole reasoning behind this isn't to show you basically I'm sorry. What I'm about to show you is not showing you what everybody's going to do every single time. Like I said, there's a million different ways to do this. I'm just showing you one way, one technique. That way you can kind of understand what's going on like behind the scenes on this and like kind of how everything operates. Alright. So we'll go ahead and start. I'm going to use MSF Venom. There we go. And I'm going to create a payload, and I'm going to make that payload Android. And then interpreter. And then reverse TCP. So a lot of the hackers, like, they've been leaning towards the from what I've seen is HTTP, like reverse shells, or HTTPS reverse shells, things like that, because it's kind of hard to block those ports, especially if it's on a web server. Web servers constantly stay open on their common ports, 443 and 80. So it's kind of hard to close those off from traffic, I mean, there are certain ways around it, but lately I've been seeing a lot of people using those things. So we're setting up a reverse TCP shell for this case. I went ahead and opened up all the the necessary ports and stuff that we're going to use on my instance, so we'll be able to connect there. It's really not going to matter what port you connect to on the Android itself, because once we upload this payload, it's basically going to take control over the phone, and it'll open up any port necessary on that phone. Alright, so in order to do this, we need to set the L host. We need to set that to our IP address, which is right there. Oops. So we'll just type that down. So we got 18.223.151.21. All right. So yeah, once we have that local host, we'll just set that up, and then we will also need to add a port. So we'll put in L port. And then I'm going to use port 4444 since I know that that's open and I already have it. So now we got to put the output. So I'll put the output and I will save it as, you can save it as whatever kind of file you want, whatever the file name is. You can save it as that, whatever you guys want to do. So I'm going to name it, let's see, I'll just name it att.apk. Alright, so I'm going to pretend that, hey, this is an application for the ATT application, or, so a lot of hackers, they'll kind of embed their payloads into actual legitimate applications within the phone. I'm not going to show you guys how to do that today. That might be a video for like a later time, because it takes a little while to actually process all of that. I just want to make sure you guys understand the basics. So if I were to do this, I would probably include the actual AT&T app if they had one. I don't even know if they have one, but I would find one, make it, and then just include this in there. That way it would look, less suspicious to the victim, right? So once we do this, we're just gonna hit enter and let it run, do its thing. Would you like to delete? No, it would not. So MSF Venom also runs through. It also runs through Metasploit, so that's why it's coming up with this whole database and loading up the database and everything. So we'll let it run, do its thing, and wait for the output. Well, maybe. Alright. This happens sometimes. Not a big deal, we'll just run it again. There we go. It takes a little while sometimes, depending on what all information you have in there, as well as the computer that you're running it on. And actually, while this is running, so you can actually go to your instance over here, and we can go ahead and fire up Metasploit. That way we can go ahead and oops, MSF console. That way we can go ahead and fire up our listener. Alright, so look, we got a payload now. So it's payload size saved as ATT APK. Let's make sure it actually saved. So I see ATT APK. Alright, so now here comes the tricky part, is basically getting that to the victim. Million different ways you can do that. If you had physical access to the phone, you could just download it yourself. You could make up a fake web page to have them download it and say, hey, like, check out this new application. Things like that. Actually, if I still have it up, let me... Actually, no, I don't have it up anymore. I was going to show you guys a website that I had made that looks just like the Google Play Store, or the App Store. That basically forced the download. Like, it didn't entirely make them download, but it gave them the option to do it. So once you gave them that website, they would just click on the button, and it would say, are you sure you want to download, whatever file you had. It was att.apk. Then they just hit yes, download it, install it. So in order for this to actually work, they have to install this file on their system. Alright, so like I said, there's a million different ways you can do that. There are some exploits out there that won't even notify them. that it's basically taking over their phone. So this is entirely up to you. Social engineering could come into play. You know, things happen. I know you guys have downloaded a few files yourself that you probably shouldn't have. You know, it happens. So you want to. They basically try to disguise it as much as they can, especially if it's hooked into a legitimate application. Then people won't really, question that. All right, so once you get that onto the phone, like I said, I'm not going to show you guys how to do that, but once you get it onto the phone, this will be the next step. You'll need to set up a listener. So we'll use multi-handler, and then we're going to set the payload for what we did, which was Android interpreter, and then reverse TCP. Alright, cool. So our payload is set. Now we need to show options, and we need to set that L host. So we just need our L host that we set up the payload for, right? So we'll just copy that there, and then we'll set L host. Alright, cool. So now our L host will be listening from any connection from this. You can set the port to anything you want as long as they match. I just use 4444 because it's the default in Metasploit, so that's why I used it up here. But yeah, as long as you have open ports that you can use pretty much any port number you want for this. I would suggest staying away from the registered ones and the heavily used ones. It could cause some issues whenever you're listening. So the next part we're going to do is just run the listener. All right, so we'll hit run, and it says started reverse TCP handler. All right, you guys can't see it right now, but I do have an Android phone pulled up that I just installed the APK file on, and so once I actually open up this file, you're going to see that we're going to get a interpreter shell down here. All right. So I just opened up the file, and look at that, it already connected. So now we got a interpreter shell here, which is what we need. So we'll type in help, and we can see the commands. So these are all the commands that you can use with the interpreter shell. There's a lot of different options you can do. Most hackers from here, they will go ahead and try and set up what is known as persistence. So they'll probably try to execute a script on here. That way, if the phone turns off or gets restarted or the app closes, things like that, they'll still have that active, connection at any time they want. And they basically own your phone from here. You can make phone calls. You can send text messages, receive all the text messages. This one's kind of funny. The webcam snap. You can actually take pictures using the webcam or the cameras on the phone, both front and back. You can see what they're doing. You can listen in on their mic. You can do pretty much anything you want with this. Like it's really, really simple after this point. I've seen a lot of people change the shell too, so that they can run a few extra things that aren't listed on the interpreter shell. But if you're basic to this and new to this, I mean, you probably want to stick to interpreter shell until you can figure out what you're actually doing. So as a little test, I'm going to use the webcam snap and take a picture of myself here. So we'll copy that. Oops. And then paste it in there. So there's a front side and a back side. I believe it's set to default for using the backside camera. So we'll go ahead and try this out. So we'll hit that. I'll give you guys a thumbs up. Nope, operation failed. Oh, that's not good. Let me see if we can reopen this again. Sometimes things don't always work out, so you gotta think quickly. That's why instead of doing that, somebody would probably go for persistence first, Let's see if we can do it again here. Waiting. Oh, sweet. Got it. Alright, so it's saved there. So we'll need to transfer that over. I don't have, spider view or anything like that opened up. So I don't have a remote desktop opened up right now. You could very well just go to your remote desktop and view that. So we'll just send it to myself. So Control C that. We'll exit out of that. Exit out of this. Make sure it's there. Which one is it? So it's this one right here. Alright, so the image is saved. And so we'll just need to set up a server real quick. Oops, serving. HTTP 10 port 8080. Which port 8080 I have open right now? So what? Serving. Wow. All right. Does not work right. Wow, that's crazy. I don't know why that's not working right now. Oh, I think I know why. I think it's because it's capitalized. Let's see if that works. Nope. Oh, there we go. I don't know why. Yeah, oh, okay. Alright, sorry guys. It was a long night. I kind of woke up early to do this too. Alright, so from here, we're going to go to wget, and then HTTP. We're going to go to this IP address, which we have right here. And yeah, sometimes you'll type things in wrong, or you'll forget the commands, things like that. It happens. Just as long as you can figure it out once you're done. And then from here, we'll go to port 8080, and then we'll need that file name. So we'll copy that, and I will paste it into here. Cool, so now we got that image. Let's make sure it's here. Cool, it is here. So we'll just open it up, right? Oh, look at that. There's a picture of me using the camera. Beautiful. Yeah, I am sitting inside my truck. Makes it easier to get quiet time in here. So, cool. If you guys have any questions about this, just shoot me an email, comment below, let me know. Like I said, this isn't the only way that people do this, but it is a way. But yeah, they do use virtual private servers like that. They will SSH into those. They will download their tools on those, just like everything you saw here. So the basics and foundation, like they're there. As the technique though is what usually changes with the with the hackers, especially the black hats. So yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to all of our social media. Keep checking out the website for more updates. Thanks, guys.